before we get to that, let's talk about how fucking old this is, okay? This idea that, like, gay people are fucking trying to do pedophilia is a super, super old concept. I mean, even yesterday when we were watching the Abba and Preach video, when they brought up completely irrelevant as a non sequitur, when they fucking pulled the idea that, like, well, trans women can fucking lie about being trans to do rapes, like, to be predatory, like, not saying that they do, but they can. That's just a super, super antiquated, super old fucking concept. So let's take a look at from the 50s, some propaganda.
That looks innocent enough, doesn't it? Lots of young people hitchhike. Seems like a good way to get from one place to another. But sometimes there are dangers involved that never meet the eye. Let's take the case of Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy played baseball all afternoon, and he didn't feel like walking home, so he decided to thumb a ride.
Brother Hassan, in America, everything is so perfect that you have time to think about a man's anus. Yeah, dude. That's what this is. Talking about protections for LGBTQ people and ensuring that, like, the wave of legislation against them is purged and the propaganda towards them conducted, calling them fucking, predators, showing that it's like all the way from the 50s the exact same thing. That's actually me thinking about male butt. I love that. I'm always thinking about male ass, dude. A noose specifically. Yeah, I have shown this on stream before.
He'd done it 100 times before, and he didn't think anything was unusual when the driver struck up a friendly conversation. In fact, he seemed like a real nice guy. He asked Jimmy if he played baseball in the park often. Jimmy told him they practiced 3 times a week and played a rival group on Friday afternoon. The stranger was a good listener, too, and it only seemed minutes before they pulled up in front of Jimmy's house.
I'm gay.
When Jimmy got out, the stranger gave him a friendly pat. Then he told him he'd see him again, as he always drove by the park on his way home. Jimmy hadn't enjoyed himself so much in a long time. Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious. What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex. But by now, Jimmy felt a fondness for Ralph, and they continued to go places together. Ralph was generous and took Jimmy many interesting places and did many nice things for him.
Yep. I mean, we can continue the propaganda, but the homophobic propaganda to show you, why this stuff is not new, if we want, but
Hassle.
can't believe they wouldn't even play, the heterosexual golf, which is just golf, whereas they ended up playing the gayest version of golf, which is mini golf, of course.
He bought presents and even gave him money, but payments were expected in return. You see, Jimmy hadn't recognized Ralph's approach soon enough. When Ralph first asked Jimmy to go fishing alone, he should have discussed it with his parents or teacher. Finally, Jimmy told his parents, and they...
The greatest example of what you're watching here is what Matt Walsh, famously, who was on that video, once said, where he literally made an excuse for the pedophilia in the Catholic Church and then said the real problem in the Catholic Church is not pedophilia, it's actually homosexuality. Okay? Where he was like, I'll excuse pedophilia, I cannot excuse homosexuality. Do you guys remember that? Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Matt Walsh, the theocratic fascist, by his own words, for the record, basically said, pedophilia I can excuse in a tweet. But, the homosexuality I can't stand. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, why can't I find the fucking actual tweet? God damn it. Oh, here it is. The pedophile scandal in the Catholic Church is not a pedophile scandal. The vast majority of victims are post-pubescent teens and young men. The real problem in the church that everyone sees and few will say out loud, gay priests. My man, straight the fuck up, said, I can excuse the pedophilia, but I cannot excuse homosexuality. Okay? And there's so many examples of this, which is why I think it's laughably, one, old school, but also, two, incredibly hypocritical.
They reported it to the juvenile authorities. Ralph was arrested, and Jimmy was released on probation in the custody of his parents. But all homosexuals are not passive. Some resort to violence, as in the case of Mike Merrick. In the heat of competition, no one noticed the man who sat and watched. And when the game broke up and the others left, Mike decided to stay in practice.
Oh yeah, additional notes for the actually it's a phebophilia, okay? That makes it even that makes it all the better. Matt Walsh hit that classic libertarian high note of saying actually it's not even pedophilia, it's ephebophilia.
Practice a little longer. The stranger joined him. He was friendly and, well, it was better than playing alone. But after a few shots, Mike realized he had already overstayed his time and suggested he better leave. The stranger told...
My man is doing, by the way, pedophilia out in the fucking public with a goddamn tuxedo and a bow tie on. Like, he just dressed up. This morning, he woke up and he was like, I'm going to go do the predatory sex shit, okay? But I got to make sure that I'm dressed to the fucking nines, dude. That's his... This is some real Tory behavior, okay? This right here has nothing to do with homosexuality and everything to do with being a fucking Tory, all right? Straight up. This is like, what are you I did not have famously Prince Andrew saying, I did not have my noncery shirt on. I would never be caught dead in public without my shirt on that I engage in with my nonce shirt. My grooming shirt. That's actually Reese Mogg. I mean, it's all of them.
Told him if he'd like to stay longer, he'd be glad to drive him home when they finished. Sounded great to Mike. Chance to play longer and get a ride home, too.
I mean, brother, Mike should have fucking figured out right out the jump that homie's there in a tux. Who plays basketball in a tuxedo, bro? That's a red flag, dude. Get the fuck out of there. Get out of there. He's got a bow tie on. The fuck?
Have you seen this?
When they finished, the stranger told him he'd make a fine player someday if he got lots of practice. The companionship, the praise, the friendly attitude dispelled any misgivings Mike might have had about going with a stranger. He probably never realized until too late that he was riding in the shadow of death. But sometime that evening, Mike Merrick traded his life for a newspaper headline. Public restrooms can often be a hangout for the homosexual.
Bro, literally the same shit. Bathrooms, dude. Oh, watch out. Watch out for bathrooms. That's where the gays are hiding, okay? Look at that. That's crazy. These motherfuckers, these conservatives, straight up cannot come up with a new idea, okay? To save their fucking lives, they could not come up with a new idea. It's always the same shit, okay? It's the same exact shit.
Bobby and his friends hadn't noticed the man who had been in the restroom when they changed, and as it was late, he suggested they take the shortcut under the pier, but the others preferred to take the more traveled way home. When Bobby recognized the stranger as the man in the restroom,
These guys recycle talking points like hipsters recycle fucking fashion trends, dude. I swear to God. Every fucking hipster is like now dressing like the 90s. You know what I mean? Like the 90s are back, or the 2000s, like the pre LGBT like marriage legalization era. And they are fucking using the same talking points from that era, okay? It's the same shit. Says you, bro, I don't dress like anything, okay?
the shortcut under the pier didn't seem like a good idea at all.
Tongue.
Someone in the chat heard me make this very obvious joke and said, "Fashion is cyclical, dumbass." That's what you got mad at, dude? Thank you for defending fashion. Thank you for defending the honesty, the honor and integrity of the fashion cycles. I know. That was the joke. That was the whole point.
18 months long.
After all, it's more fun to stay with your friends anyway. Bobby had made a wise decision. It may have saved his life. One never knows when the homosexual is about. He may appear normal, and it may be too late when you discover he is mentally ill. So keep with your group, and don't go off alone with strangers unless you have the permission of your parent or teacher.
My man said the homosexual might appear normal. Wait, what the fuck? This week, lesbian?
Do you regard yourself as being exactly the same as everyone else, except in your private sex life?
Well, certainly, yes. I don't think there's...
Lesbians. Okay, we're gonna do that for sure as well, okay? We're absolutely gonna fucking do that. That's awesome.